Good evening, viewers, friends. This is HimanshuBhayani, and you are watching the digital video bulletin of datelinegujaratnews.com. Our URL datelinegujaratnews.com. You can access all the world headlines in form of newsletter and bulleted points, which we represent as news news wires. So, what the world wakes up today to the news. The world wakes up to the news of Chinese army alleging that a US ship has entered illegally into the Chinese water territory across South China Sea. And the news is largely dominated by the opinion pieces of Xi Jinping's visit to Russia, meeting Putin, where there are several opinions with several dimensions, which talks about the 12-point proposal to end the Ukraine war, the peace proposal. The Ukraine war is not the China's priority. The world's response to the Ukraine war and how it will pan basically. The bromance of Xi Putin, it is likely to end in tears. And Xi has sent clear signal, clear message to the world and what to make out of Xi's Russia trip amid China's growing involvement in Ukraine. So there are opinion pieces on this. Apart from that, if we talk of the war zone from Russia and Ukraine, so what happened? The moment she left Russia, Ukraine capital Kyiv was swarmed with Russian drones. The Ukraine authorities have alleged, they said that apartments were targeted, the civilians were targeted, civilians have died in drone attacks. And Sweden has approved NATO's entry. They said that we are into it. Putin gets rattled. Basically, he says that the way uranium depleted tanks are coming from UK to Ukraine, we will use the Sabre nuke missiles. That's the kind of wording which is going on. And ICC is adamant and rejects any threats after arrest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. So this is mainly happening in the world. What's happening in the Asian subcontinent? China's Mekong Dam, it turns Thai fishing village into a ghost town. That's the news in most of the Asian media. And Thailand has uncovered its own Jamtara. The way you have Jamtara in India, where the fishing activities and fake calling and everything goes. So Thailand has uncovered its own Jamtara. They have arrested a gang basically of scamsters who were targeting elderly Americans. So these Jamtara of Thailand was targeting elderly Americans. And as usual, North Korea, its activities, they have fired multiple cruise missiles. That's how the South Korea alleges. And equally amidst that, the news comes even from the Middle East Peninsula is that Saudi Arabia is preparing to reopen its embassy in Iran. And Saudi and Iranian finance ministers, they will be meeting very soon. They had this, kind of cordial exchange over the telephone while sharing the greetings for Ramadan, which started from yesterday in Middle East. And equally, Xiao Qin, the ambassador of China, People's Republic of China to Australia, has written a opinion piece in China in Australian media which says how Taiwan will be of China, but war with Australia is a fallacy. So this opinion piece is, I think, it makes an interesting read on a diplomatic scale. US amphibious assault ship has joined the drills in South Korea. US to gain military access in North Philippines, to which Philippines President Marcos has defended US. She said that the way China is warning of abyss of geopolitical strife, we don't mind if US has its presence near Taiwan in the water territories of Philippines. In other developments surfacing from Japan as a nation has decided to supply $30 million worth of non-lethal equipment to Ukraine. Reacting to which, Russia says that it will boost its defense near Japan, accuses basically that US of expanding Asia-Pacific presence. So it's a need and we need to come over there. Reports have surfaced that China has approved its own mRNA vaccine for COVID-19. And in a rare and the rarest environment and ecology incident, which has been reported from Nepal by Kathmandu Post, it says that the tiger has killed gharial to death. And the tiger has chopped the head of gharial, and that's making kind of rounds across social media. And this is basically a conservationist, basically the wildlife experts, they're calling this a rare of rarest incident, and carcass of endangered crocodile species was found by the stream side. So that's the news basically in Nepal. What's happening in Middle East? The opinion pieces are making round. Apart from the diplomatic repatched relationship of Iran and Saudi. There is an opinion piece which says that what does China's brokering restoration of Iran-Saudi relation mean for Uyghur Muslims in China? Now that's a big question mark. Good news from Middle East is that remittance to rise, mainly it has increased amid the inflationary challenges and pressures. And UK government has issued travel advisory for Turkey. Israeli minister has disavowed her remark. She said that I did not like Dubai, but then she has said that I was joking. So she has disavowed her remark. And Red Sea is it's considered to be the younger version of Atlantic Ocean. That's a study revealed by Saudi experts. What's happening in Africa? The African media landscape is largely dominated by the news of Ethiopia having removed the terrorist designation for the dominant Tigray party. And that's being kind of celebrated in African landscape. And the funding for African Union Somalia mission critical to security. That is what the United Nations chief has said, and he has said that African Union urges a nearly almost $90 million aid. Burundi troops have taken over the vacated areas by the rebels. The vacated areas which were vacated while the Democratic Republic of Congo rebels of M23 group were driven out. So that's what's happening in Burundi. And Algerian police force claims of having dismantled a Syrian European human trafficking network. Danda hai bhai. That is how the things are happening in the world. Just look at it. Grey shades of the world, you can call it. Rwanda's business pours into Cabo Delgado in Mozambique mainly because especially the security and the construction firms have been flooding into Cabo Delgado, looking at the business opportunities following Kigali's military intervention to secure the gas-rich Mozambique province. That's what is happening. And Britain deports. There is a report of Tamil Guardian which says that Britain reports Tamil refugees to Rwanda. These Tamil refugees tried to commit suicide. And Egypt has it has banned the sugar exports. And Fitch has upgraded the Ghana sovereign rating. So that's mainly from the African landscape. I usually give the highlights. If you want to read more into details, what are the reasons and everything, you can go on our website, read the newsletter, click the links. These are highlighted links in bold. So you can just click on those letters and you can read the detailed news on our website. Through our website, of course. That's how it is. What's happening in the European media? The European media headlines are all abuzz and news dominated with research vessel which basically tipped off over a dockyard in Edinburgh in Scotland, injuring many. People have been shifted by helicopter. Immediate services were given. Rescue missions were on. In other developments, the EU leaders set to endorse more military support for Ukraine, and economists across Europe have warned. There's a kind of an opinion piece which says that is Europe on the brink of another financial crisis? If you're looking to go for that support, please look at this also. That is what the economists are telling in Europe. And that's absolutely gripping attention of the readers. Slovenia plans of electricity gas price regulation and a green corridor project has been launched between South Africa and Europe. And the buzz on EU's censorship regime is about to go global is equally attracting attention across the European media because this censorship of EU basically allows any content to be removed from the social media, which is objectionable kind of a thing, and most of the governments across the world are comfortable with that. So this model is likely to travel. That's what the opinion piece reads in the European media. Finland will grant asylum to Afghani women and girls. That's what Finland has said. And Bulgaria goes aggressive to extradite its top ex-magistrate to Austria over money laundering cases. Magistrate, money laundering case. These things happen. In a surprising development, Prince William makes a surprise visit to the troops in Poland. And New York has decided to return the $6.2 million coin minted by Brutus to mark Caesar's debt to Greece. It's a historical kind of treasure of Greece, and it needs to go back to Greece, and they've returned that. Dutch marine contracting firm Van Oord has selected Port of Tyne in northeast England as a storage and marshalling base for the Sofia offshore wind farm for 2024. So this is a kind of development news even coming in areas of business development from Europe. And traveling ahead, what we do is we go to America. And what's happening in America? American media news headlines are largely dominated by the news of US Federal Reserve having increased the interest rates by 25 basis point, which has triggered a kind of slump into the stock market. The share prices have collapsed. But a good news for gold. Gold prices have gone up. And anti-pawn bill in 8 states that would force the likes of Apple and Samsung to automatically censor nude and sexually explicit content. So this is happening in USA. This is likely to kind of replicate across other geographies also in coming days, because porn is becoming a big issue on internet, and of course the way it is moving around with young kids and everybody. Canadian media is all abuzz about the new immigration population to double in 26 years. And amidst this, I mean, what has happened is that Twitter accounts of Rupi Kaur, Jagmeet Singh and other Canadians are blocked. The move comes as Indian government hunts for Amritpal Singh, key leader of Waris Punjab there, which is a pro-Khalistani movement affiliated group. And that's how it is. Canada has extended support for those fleeing Russia's illegal and unjustifiable invasion to Ukraine, on Ukraine, and they've said that that's fair. While a couple from Ontario traveling to India has been forced to return due to documents issues. There was some issue with their documents and they've been forced to return back to Ontario. Government has equally ensured that wood pulp giant Paper Excellence will respect the Canadian laws, and they will go by those laws in case of any litigations or something, whatever is surfaced over there. In US, the Fed hikes the interest rates. It's giving jitters to the US stock market, but it's proving kind of gold is glittering. And most powerful tornado in the last 40 years has hit Los Angeles suburbs. That's the news basically in US media. And the TikTok chief is going to face Congress. Equally, if you want to know who is the TikTok chief, how he raised himself from the intern at Facebook to the CEO of TikTok, is a Singaporean citizen, Shouzi. His reports are going viral on several media and social media platforms. Interesting development comes from US. It will be sending its old fighter planes to Middle East and the new models of newer jets to Asia and Europe. So clearly the eye is to contaminate somewhere the Ukraine-Russia war zone, and equally be careful about the problems in China or North Korea, because the concentration is going to be in Asia and Europe. In a fantabulous scientific attempt, the first 3D printed rocket takes off, but it fails to reach the orbit. But I think it's a good news. There has been one very emotional video which has gone viral on Twitter. It has gone viral across several social media platforms. A mother who also happens to be a Fox News reporter, she hugs her son while reporting online live, while she was reporting for a shootout at a school in US, and she says that where her son was trapped, she says sorry while hugging her son in that moment, and she says that the son was even sharing the information as to what is happening inside. It's a very kind of emotional video. Even the Twitter link of same is given on our website, and you can see that also over there. At the Seattle storage facility, there have been reports of boats burning. All of a sudden, why this happens, you don't know in such a scenario. And in the news from Mexico, cartels are recruiting US soldiers and other Americans basically for the dirty job, basically smuggling drugs and all that. And in an interesting report which has surfaced in Center of Immigration Studies, which reads that the Canadian policy is behind the surge of illegals and Mexican cartel operatives at the northern border. No evidence that the Biden administration has ever demanded a change at multiple US-Canada immigration meetings. So this comes from the Center of Immigration Studies. While President Lopez Obrador is quadrating Mexico's economic potential, he wants to see that Mexico gains economic potential, and in a legal kind of provision which is given to Tesla's Mexico Gigafactory, they said that you will have to plant twice the trees of what you remove while you put the plant over there, your Gigafactory plant in Mexico, and they've agreed to that. Haiti is a news everywhere in the Caribbean media, because clearly the UN has says that there is a gang rule in Haiti. The report of almost more than 530 have been killed in gang violences in Haiti. That's the report which has been surfaced in the UN readings. And equally, this could be the topic of discussion in the Biden-Trudeau meet also. So as Justin Trudeau and Biden meet, Joe Biden meet, they would even discuss on these issues of Haiti. Amidst all this, what has happened is the former Haitian mayor has been arrested in US for visa frauds. And that's how it is. In Latin America, 6.5 magnitude Richter scale earthquake has struck. Chile has pushed, kind of new lithium extraction methodology, keeping in view the future supplies and how this could be at a risk. In a natural course of action, what happened yesterday was that the several top brass officials in the Colombian armed forces were removed. But today, the statement comes from President Gustavo Petro. He says that we have suspended all ceasefire with drug cartels. They are sowing fear and anxiety, and gave the security forces orders to resume armed operations against these criminal gangs. So once he cleaned the tainted officers, and then he started the operation. In an interesting development, after we yesterday reported that how the Brazilian oil and gas exploration data has been quite encouraging for the month of January. What happens is that President Luis Inacio Lula da Silva, he's just even not completed his 100 days, but he has already provoked the wrath of foreign oil companies with the creation of new tax law on the crude exports. So I don't know how this will pan, what will happen, how this makes an impact on the oil prices, on the Brent crude, and prices which are trading on the NYMEX. What is happening in the Pacific Island? The Pacific Island the news is mainly dominated by the AUKUS deal and the nuke submarine deal, where the opinion pieces are that how this could impact the Australia sovereignty, whereas somebody says that this provides a security cover across Indo-Pacific landscape. Equally, amidst this, Australia and China has also hold the professional defense stock, and a surprise comes from Solomon Islands. Amidst this, when you're talking of controlling China's activity into Pacific Ocean, Chinese company has got a contract and they won a bid basically to upgrade an international seaport in Solomon Islands. So what is happening, bhai? So this is what it is. And Canberra bureaucrats and diplomats have kind of made allegations in Istanbul, saying that Iranian Australians are being harassed and this should be checked. Again, a leading renewable energy company from Australia, it has begun its operating in New England solar project. It has started operations. And the Ritz-Carlton debuts in Melbourne. The first Ritz-Carlton comes to Melbourne. This is how it is. And the City Beach home in Perth, belonging to a dead drug dealer, worth $2 million, has been seized. An Australian low-cost carrier Jetstar is enjoying strong domestic and international recoveries, although supply chain issues are impacting its wide body and narrow body fleets. So that's issue. Supply chain issues are there, but they are recovering because of the domestic and international recoveries. South Australia has been rattled by its largest quake in last 9 years, and there has been some kind of how it has impacted the geography basically of that area. That's being studied, and this has been reported by Geoscience Australia. Despite loads of news from New Zealand, the major attention is on how New Zealand moves forward with 8.5 TWH pumped hydro project and the water identified as a chemical spill in Picton Ferry Terminal. Whereas in Papua New Guinea, media is under threat. A new draft government policy is set to put journalistic freedoms into the test. Where the media is not under the threat. Now it's in Papua New Guinea, a small island. There also media is under threat. Bhai kaam kare to kahan jaake kare? So only we do this highlights of news. From the frozen polars, if you see what's the news. Antarctic seabirds abandon the nests after the snowstorms, and students with bioplastic project attend a science expedition in Antarctica. This is the news which will interest you, what I'm going to read now. Mission Impossible 8's filming in Arctic has been blocked by the local government. So Mission Impossible was to have some scenes of Arctic. This might even disappoint you, but yeah, this is happening. So I think it's making, it is indeed living to the title Mission Impossible. And while commentaries are coming across the Western media of how Biden's compromise on new oil drilling is devastating the Arctics, Russian hydrocarbon sector major, which is Gazprom Neft, has been awarded Arctic offshore license. Ye kya ho raha hai bhai? We already said that the war is going to be in Arctic for the minerals, the natural gas between Russia, NATO forces and US, and this is happening. How this is happening, we come to the another news. Equally the news is that the joint tactical insertion with Hercules aircraft as conducted by the US and Canada. So Hercules aircraft went on Arctic. It landed on Arctic. Yesterday, the soldiers were given a kind of gears to fight in cold weathers, snow gears, and now a Hercules lands in Arctic in a joint US-Canadian military operation. Kuch to gadbad hai, Daya. And apart from that, what is happening is that the sea ice may soon disappear from Arctic during summer. Summers are going to be a little different now. And Arctic sea ice is also below average in winter. So that layer has been a little less and it will start melting. It will trigger another set of climate change activities which worries the climate experts and the climate change experts across the world. Whereas Textron specialized vehicles recalls its Arctic Cat Altera 60 and Tracker 60 all-terrain vehicles due to crash hazards. So there's been some technical glitch and they said that we will recall these vehicles. So this is the news from across the world. However, friends, we have got a request from many viewers, readers saying that we should do a similar kind of news highlights on India, on business, which is my domain, and of course Gujarat. I'm a single person. I'm trying to address. We'll see how we can do this best. But of course, yes, I assure you one thing, as we are talking in this format, whenever there is a mention of India, there is a mention of Gujarat, any news from Gujarat, there is a mention of any business activity from India, which is there in the international media, we'll definitely talk about it. Till then, till we recalibrate ourselves, because we want to yet go even into editing these videos, making it a little more visible and interesting. So we're working on that, but we'll definitely do. Thank you for the response. Have a good day and good night. Thank you.